Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning club. Um, so um, I was thinking about this is fresh from the new moon and what that stirred in me and others that I've spoke to, and like a strong sense of new beginnings and with this strong Taurus energy that likes to keep us safe, keep us where we are. So I thought we would revisit, go back to kind of getting out of your own way and how to get what you really want and just thinking about what is it you do want. Um, so yeah, we're just going to look at the role of fear in decision making, um, the psychology behind motivation, and then hopefully have some practical strategies as well, to get on your way to achieving those goals. So fear, fear, fear. So if you yeah, sometimes we don't feel it. It's like, I'm not scared. I don't really feel fearful. Um, but think about a goal you've wanted to pursue, that's been quite bold. You're like, yeah, I want to do that, but you haven't necessarily done it yet. So thinking about the bigger ones, bigger goals, um, that yeah, let's just think about why you haven't done it yet. Sometimes we can tend to always blame time. So always like, I just haven't had the time. Or I didn't do that qualification. I hear this all the time. Like, oh, maybe I need to go and do another qualification in this. Or I'm just gonna go and do another course and then I'll do it. I'll just lose the weight and then I'll do it. There's usually something. Time is a big one. But actually these are the reasons that we give. Um, but I would challenge you, well, not challenge you, but I would guess that most of the time it's actually fear. So we're gonna just have a look into like how we can stop fear steering the direction of things. So the key concept really of fear is this kind of amygdala hijack. So it's our brain's fear center is the amygdala. So this can override all of our thinking, even in the lack of presence of actual threat. So it could be quitting a job, it could be having that tricky conversation with a friend, it could be those things that it's not, you just don't want to do it, but it's the amygdala will hijack. So you perceive that threat to be greater than it is. For people that have done my workshops and setting boundaries, like the first time I set in boundaries, and I see it in other people now, it's that fear, like, oh, I just can't, I'm going to upset them so much. So yeah, that's a, if you want more on that amygdala hijack, Daniel Goleman, he's the guy that also wrote Emotional Intelligence. But yeah, he blames the amygdala for hijacking all of our goals. So again, we've got that fight, flight, fear response. We don't know that it's just a small action we're going to take. We can really just get a sense of quite a minimal state of it, and it will just prevent us from doing it. Loss aversion. So we are more motivated to avoid loss than to achieve gain. So we stay safe instead of risk losing. So this is like the prospect theory. Um, so it's by Kahneman and Tversky. I don't know if I've said that right. But this is used a lot. With, I don't know if anyone's come across like the food freedom movement. about, these many people who want to lose weight, um, but can't. Like they sabotage. I say they. I'm like literally like I. I can like relate quite closely to this. But this freedom therapy, she talks about loss aversion, not in a technical sense, but the notion that we are safe in our bodies as they are, but also that loss of who we are. Even though we can say quite logically, like, "Oh, I just don't like the way I look. I just want to look a little bit different, or I'd like my bottom to be a bit smaller, or whatever it is." She talks about this way that we're so fearful of what the new us look like, and also for women, the safety of having more weight, and actually being less attractive to the opposite sex keeps us in a safer position. Really interesting stuff. But yeah, so rather than losing the comfort and certainty and safety, we just stay where we are. And also the fear of success. Like sometimes it's not the failure that we're fearing, but who are we going to become if we succeed? What's that going to mean? Um, is it going to mean time away from family? Is it going to mean, yeah, don't know. Have a little think. Is there any fear of success? Will people judge you? Will people say you've changed? It's the best thing ever. Like we laugh about it so much on counselling training. And when people are like, "Oh, she's changed," it's like, yeah, we're supposed to. But it can put lots of they talk about the level 3 breakups, because once we start becoming aware and going for goals, it might be, one person's evolving and the other person isn't, that relationship doesn't work anymore. So let's reframe that fear. So reframe, like, so that fear is a signal, it's not a stop sign. It's just a little, oh, it's an amber, it's not a red. So if we think of a recent fear, was it pointing to danger or growth? So often fear can come from a place where we're expanding. I get like subconsciously, hugely in my business, feel a little bit of expansion, which is what I really, really want. And then I get scared. Like, oh no, what if I can't do it? Um, so use that 5-second rule that we've talked about before by Mel Robbins. So act before your brain can take over, before the amygdala can hijack it. So we can, yeah, just quickly boot it out of the way. But fear it means that we're on the edge of something important, and this is often where self-sabotage will come in and pull us back as well. But speak to that fear. Fear only shows up. Fear's saved our lives many times. Fear has made us run back to the curbside when there's a car and we've just quickly we've misjudged it. Fear's allowed us to slam our foot on the brake when a car's pulled out in front of us. Fear keeps us safe in many ways, but also it's active, it's only showing up in with the best intention. So try not to get angry or frustrated with fear. You can speak to it and say, I can hear your concerns, but we can't stay as we are. We have to expand and we've got to grow, because as we are isn't feeling fulfilling. So there's also this growth zone model. I will pop this on a handout. It will be with you by the end of the day. So this growth zone model is we've got comfort. So there's the 4 zones, which are comfort, fear, learning, and growth. And comfort is obviously familiar, it's safe, but it's also stuck. It's a little bit stagnant. And then we've got the fear zone, which is doubt, which causes the anxiety. And then we've got learning, which acquires new skills, dealing with challenges. And then we've got growth, which is that visual, like it's a realization, like you've actually got this and feeling that purpose. I see a lot of people stuck in fear and learning. And this isn't a cyclical stage. I suppose it could be really a stage of change. But between fear and learning, especially in this kind of like holistic wellness industry, it's like, oh, to do that, I need to go and be trauma informed now. I'll do a trauma informed course. So, and to actually, to that element, and I'm going to go and do 200 hours yoga training. And, I've been at it as well, like, oh, what else do I need? What else do I need? Um, and it's a block, really. It's like when I have that, when I have my next Food Standard Agency tick or approval, then I'll do it. And I'm not saying that some of that stuff is legislation, it's governance, and we need it to practice. But some people are so overqualified and underexperienced because of fear, and it's heartbreaking. They have or they've done lots of qualifications, they're not even doing anything with them. Anyway, if you're uncomfortable, that's a sign that you are growing, you're stepping out of that comfort zone. So breaking big fears down into tiny exposures. So if this is a great way to scale it back. So if you've got fear of, I don't know, you really want to go and showcase your business somewhere, but you have a fear of public speaking. So you're great one-to-one, but actually you don't want to stand up in the Chamber of Commerce and present why you want Dorset Award or something. That so if you've got that fear of speaking, then think about just putting your hand up and asking a question in a meeting. Or if it's a fear of, I'm not sure, I'm sure you could think of all the examples, but breaking the big ones into the little tiny exposures. So if you're fearing going to the gym, just go and visit, just go and sit in the car park. And then next time go and have a little look around. So think about one fear that's holding you back potentially and identify an action that you could take this week. And fear feels like such a big word, and it might not be, you're thinking, it's not fear. So let's use the word block if fear isn't kind of resonating with you and it's like, I'm not scared. Just can't, like, my bedroom every day. I'm like, right, I'm going to sort this bedroom out. Because I'm not putting bedding away because I've got lots of winter bedding that I need to vacuum pack and pop that under the bed. It doesn't need to be taking up space in my shelves in the bathroom. And so it's just, how stuff starts to accumulate, and every day you're like, oh, I'll get that done today. And I'm not. It's not. I don't feel scared of it, but there's a definite block. Yeah, I'm sure. Like my Jungian tutor and therapist would be like, you are scared you're scared of clear spaces or something. Maybe I am. Anyway, taking the bold action. So this is where we want to visualize the desired outcome. So I'm just going to visualize having a beautiful clear bedroom. But actually, let's just like close the eyes down now. Just imagine that you've moved through that block, all that fear. What does your life look like 6 months from now, or 3 months from now, or next week, the end of the day? How do you feel? And who are you? Sometimes we fear the change, but we're still us. Just really feeling into that of how nice is it going to feel when that block's dissolved and we've taken that action. We've gone to a larger scale with our business, or we've moved house, or we've moved jobs. Feeling into that the next minute. Might be and then thinking about one tiny action you can do today to help you get there. Just take a nice deep breath in, just feeling that vision. Hold that intention in your heart. Exhale all of those blocks and fears. And we'll just come back to the screen. You might be surprised sometimes when we can just close the eyes and go inward, find that bit of stillness. It might be other things that pop up on what you really want. So if you revisit any meditation, there's that future self one, or find your purpose, just creating that quiet. And then there's something about fear setting. So this is an exercise by Tim Ferriss, and this is like defining the fear, like really holding it, giving it definition, writing it down, making it clear. What are you scared of? Scared it won't work, or you're scared whatever it may be. So the first step is to define. The second step is to prevent. Now, prevent is what you could do to prevent this fear. Now, sometimes a lot of it is out of our control. So if it's like, oh, I don't want to put this retreat on because no one's going to come, some of that is out of your control because of you can't drag people. It's other people's decisions. But I could prevent that feeling, that feeling that, oh, it's not worked. So kind of emotionally proofing yourself in case it doesn't work, because that's the learning, that's the growth of failure. It builds more resilience. So sometimes we do have to fall over, and we do have to go, have those hiccups to learn and build that resilience and go forth again. So we've got define, prevent, repair. So this is just kind of touched on what would you do if it happened? depending on what scale it is, in case there's a big financial investment. But if it happened, what would be the backup plan if that fear came true? And then the benefits. So, what are the benefits that you'd gain from taking this risk? And whenever we're looking at blocks and moving out of that safety, there is a risk element. And what are the benefits to that? So, define, prevent, repair, and the benefits. So yeah, it's a little bit like a pros and cons list, but a little bit more depth. Commit to a 24-hour courage step. So this is like, what's one bold action that you can do in the next 24 hours towards what you really want? And when I say bold, it doesn't have to be a huge financial investment or bold like signing up to a university degree or something. It could be making that call. Even it can be small but specific. And have that accountability, like write it down now. If there's something that's come into your head, like, okay, what's the action that I can take? That step towards becoming the person that I want to become. Oh, taking that next venture. It's that one thing. And this I think is really useful to go back to your values and your beliefs around things and that incongruence. When we have a value and a belief about something and then we've got an action and they're not aligning, we feel that brokenness. That kind of like we're doing something that's not what we truly believe. Parents, when they parent around grandparents, they can often betray their values of their own parenting because actually the fear of disappointing their parents is still overriding their behavior, even though they're a parent themselves now. So this value and belief that they can hold so, so strongly about being a gentle parent and, raising children differently can be totally different when there's grandparents around and they're like suddenly a harsher, older generational parent, like, oh no, don't speak to me like that. And, it's that incongruence. So, yeah, just thinking about, that alignment of who you want to be, of what you want to step into more of, and what you can do today, and that accountability. And I will set up that bloody WhatsApp group out. I will do that today, and that's my accountability. And maybe unconsciously, I'm like, I haven't set that out. Maybe there's some fear around more distraction, more pings on my phone. I don't think so, but could be. Anyway, fear won't disappear. Like, it won't just go by thinking about it, but it doesn't have to hijack things. We have to kind of nestle in. We have to like pick that fear up and go, come on, it's happening anyway. It's going to be okay. Fear can be related to a lot of inner child stuff. We need that little bit of like, this is what I say when I say speaking to that fear. Like, okay, I totally understand what you're saying, but we're adults now and we can do this. We can move forward with this. And it can get us so frustrated in that frustration loop of like, I know this is what I really want. Like, why aren't I progressing with this? So yeah, so even whatever, however small it is today, just do something. So I will stop recording now. If anyone wants to share, we've got that. We can do that accountability. I know what mine is, so I'll share mine. And yeah, I'll see you all on Thursday.